Coming to you live from the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University, FATV presents coverage of Fitchburg State University men's ice hockey. Tonight is a pivotal MASCAC game for both of these teams as the Fitchburg State Falcons take on the Framingham State Rams in a battle of the FSUs. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. Alongside Nola Patty, I'm Daniel Bolak. Happy to have you along with us here today. The Falcons coming into today with a record of 10-11-1, 6-8-1 in the MASCAC. Had that big win on Thursday night against Plymouth State. Was hoping to follow that up on Saturday against Anna Maria. Had a 3-2 lead through 40 minutes of play, and then things sort of went south.
Yeah, so 4 unanswered goals from the AmCats ended up shutting down the Falcons. It was just a matter of taking penalties when it was not needed, and face-off wins that just didn't go their way. So their conference record advanced to 6-8-1. And then coming into this game, a big thing that they need to focus on, like we previously just mentioned, was staying out of the box. Fitchburg is a pretty disciplined team when it comes to penalties. They only have about 7.77 minutes of penalties per game. And they're last in the MASCAC with the least amount of penalty minutes on the season. But in the last 2 games, they've taken 3 power play goals against them. So staying out of the box is going to be crucial against this Framingham team, because as soon as they start to get hot, they can start to make some dangerous plays here for the Falcons.
At Framingham, 2-17-3, 1-12-2 in the MASCAC. Okay, those numbers don't seem like they pop out at you this much. I was talking with assistant coach Soren Kolstrup before the game, and he mentioned this team has really been starting to turn it on the last 7 or 8 games Framingham State has. They were able to get a big win on the 11th against Worcester State 3-2. Last time out, they played to a 4-4 tie with Riviere, won the shootout, their 3rd shootout win of the season, and now for Framingham State, they come into today tied for 9th in the conference. Top 8 make the playoffs. They're 8 points adrift of MCLA with 9 points remaining that are available to them, which means they've got to win their last 3 games to have any shot of making the playoffs.
And the Falcons going to want to take this win from them today, not just for their standings, but also for their momentum of their season. As we know, they haven't had as good of a season as they've been hoping to have, but hopefully they can get it done here on home ice. This game was supposed to be away at Framingham. The snow ended up rescheduling that, so now we're here at FSU, and we'll see, can the home ice advantage help the Falcons in this battle?
One interesting thing about Framingham State, they actually haven't won a game at Loring Arena this year. 0-7-3 in the friendly confines of Framingham, but both of their wins this year at Franklin Pierce and at Worcester State, those were road games for the Rams, so they are a little better here. And this Framingham State team has found ways to play the Falcons tough over the years. The last 8 meetings between these two teams, the Falcons have only taken 4 of those 8 meetings. Framingham's taken 3 of them, and 1 of those ended in a tie. And we all, and the Falcons fans, for better or for worse, remember the 2021 meeting between these two teams in the playoffs where Framingham knocked the Falcons out.
And knocked that pane of glass down, which has not been replaced to this day. I feel like that's kind of a monumental situation that we had there.
Yep, you could always tell which pane of glass it was. But yes, Fitchburg State, Framingham State, it's a big battle for the Falcons. It's trying to get back into the top 4. They're only 1 point out of the top 4 right now, with Worcester State at 23 points, the Falcons at 22 points, both of those teams on 15 games. So the Falcons definitely going to need Worcester to slip up down the stretch. And meanwhile for Framingham, we've mentioned the stakes. We're going to let you listen into the starting lineups from public address announcer Jim LaPointe here on FATV.
At forward, a sophomore from New Berlin, Wisconsin, number 24, Brady Rosbach. At forward, a senior from Victor, New York, number 28, Ashton Colazzo. On defense, a sophomore from Larkspur, Colorado, number 12, Cameron Craig. At defense, a junior from Hyde Park, Mass, number 16, Jake Barcelo. And in goal, a sophomore from Maynard, Mass, number 35, Owen Swanborn. Framingham is coached by Mike Bailey, assisted by Melvin Nichols and Soren Kolstrup. And now the starting lineup for your Fitchburg State Falcons. At forward, a sophomore from Douglas, Massachusetts, number 16, Hunter Dunn. At forward, a sophomore from Courbevoie, France, number 17, Matteo Orm Lynch. At forward, a sophomore from Courbevoie, France, number 33, Eloan Orm Lynch. At defense, a senior from Milford, New Hampshire, number 18, Jack Johansson. At defense, a senior from Queenstown, Maryland, number 20, Christian Helbig. And in goal for the Falcons, a sophomore from Harrison Township, Michigan, number 30, Freddie Soderberg. Fitchburg State is coached by Dean Fuller in his 41st season, assisted by associate head coach Tom Paddy, assistants Chris Kine, Mike Chartrand, Josh Miller, and Cam Isabel. Officials for tonight's game, Jared Waite and Ron Morello, linesmen Connor Foley and Chris Saka. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, would you please rise and remove your caps as we honor our nation, the flag, and all of our presidents for the playing of the national anthem.
Moments away from puck drop here at the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University. This MASCAC matchup between the Fitchburg State Falcons and Framingham State Rams. Daniel Bolak, Nola Paddy, Travis Falk on camera. Happy to have you along with us here today. Starting goalies for these two teams for the Falcons, they go back to Freddie Soderberg, 17th appearance this year, 7-7-1 record, 308 goals against, 904 save percentage, and 1 shutout. Max Macchione had gotten the start the last couple of nights, but after conceding 6 goals to Anna Maria, they go back to Soderberg today. All that on 52 shots. Meanwhile, Framingham State is running with Owen Swambon, the sophomore from Maynard, Mass, making his 11th appearance, 10th start, 1-6-2 record, 362 goals against, 904 save percentage, has taken over the starting job as the season has gone on for the Rams. Liam Kilgallen, who was the most experienced goalie coming back for the Rams, had the starting job, but his save percentage is hovering around 860 right now. At this point, kind of had to make a change, and Swambon starting to run with it a little bit. The numbers aren't what you'd like them to be too much, but, you know, this Framingham State team does give up a lot of shots, 37 a game, and so their goalies have been relatively tested. In fact, last time out, Swambon needed to make 35 saves against Riviere.
Battle of FSU, always a great one, big exciting game ahead of us.
Absolutely, Falcons in the home white uniforms with the green numbers and the green and gold stripes. They'll go left to right in this first period of action. The Rams, the road, black uniforms with gold numbers and stripes, and they will go from right to left. Dumped in down the ice, picked up on the defensive end by the Rams, sent around by Jake Barsalou to the near side. Mateo Orme Lynch fighting for that puck as they try to dig it out. Cameron Craig there as well for Framingham State. Flipped out to the blue line, held in by Jack Johansson, tries to get to Mateo Orme Lynch against the board, shakes off a hit from Craig. Puck eventually goes into the right wing corner, taken by Hunter Dunn. 3 Rams around him, and Eloan Orme Lynch will dig it out on the right side. Craig will try to move it around the boards to the left side. Halbig will keep it in the zone. He'll throw it towards goal. That's going to be gobbled up by Swambon. First shot 50 seconds in goes to the Falcons.
The Rams winning these battles along the boards, but unable to get it past the strong defensive pair we have in Halbig and Johansson. They're veteran defensemen on this team. They hold the line well. They pinch when they need to. Incredible first offensive possession by the Falcons.
The Rams have only had 1 game in their last 9 or so in which they lost by more than 2 goals. This is a Rams team that's only won 2 games this season, but they've played some very tough games down the stretch. They've kept it close against some pretty solid teams. And you know, Framingham always comes to play in the battle of the FSUs. Devontae Dixon throws it up towards goal as it's patted away by Freddie Soderberg behind the net. Falcon goes tumbling to the ice, and Declan Bronte. They come out to the point. Nicholas Milhorn gets the stick on there in the slot and try to push it out of the zone off of Rams. Second attempt will find Sammy Rennick. 3 around him. Milhorn is able to get free, get a shot off, goes just wide to the left of Swambon. Jeremy Millette with a touch on, nothing more than that. To the near side, Bobby Bernier will throw it down the ice. Picked up by Isaiah McKinney. He'll take it behind his own net, battling with Sam Larkin. Off the boards, down the ice. Race to the puck, race to the line. Winning that with the superior positioning is Barcelou, and icing will be given.
Looks like Collins was trying to win that foot race. He'll be unable to, so the Falcons facing their first defensive zone face-off. That was something they definitely struggled with, as Anna Marie was able to score a quick goal off that face-off against Collins, so definitely something they spoke about in practice and after that game.
Falcons only won 33 out of a possible 83 face-offs on Saturday night against Anna Maria. They're much closer to 50% against Plymouth State on Thursday night. One of the differences in that contest. McKinney sticks it around for Bronte in the right wing corner. Their own end as the Falcons try to push it up ice. Stretched out of the reach of Collins and sent right back in by Framingham. Soderberg will settle it down behind his own net. Rim it around the boards, rides the top of the boards there. Past Cookson, out of the zone it comes. Turn around and sent back in. Caleb Kinski will dump it back in and then change off for a line change. Kinney can't handle it on the near side. Chris Zapata steps up, tries to move it along, taken by the Rams, thrown out into the slot off of the skate of Bove, back behind the net. Around into the left point. Stick down for a moment there by Barcelou. He's had a long shift here. As here's Cookson, trying to move it out of the zone. Stepping up there, Cameron Craig. And dumped back in by the Rams again. 17:05 to go first period, no score, only 1 shot on target thus far. Alexander Bove, moving around from the far side off the boards, out of the zone, pushed along. Here is Bove getting it back. Bove with a little bit of space, tries to put on a move, goes behind the net, loses the puck, as it ends up getting deflected up and out of play.
Communication for the Falcons has definitely been something that we've been noticing not to be so strong in the first few minutes of this game, as their neutral zone entries trying to go offensively haven't been the cleanest. Something they'll definitely have to take into consideration, but only the first few minutes of the game, just shaking off a little bit of rust.
Rams matching their first line with Ashton Collazo, centering that against the Falcons' 4th line on paper. Kramer, Bove, and Marcus Macchione. That one is into the netting, and that's out of play again. We've talked about it a little bit. I think that the lines sort of exist on paper, but maybe not so much in practice, because all these lines are so balanced for the Falcons.
They're such a strong team with so much depth, and it's unfortunate that a lot of these games this season haven't gone their way, but I really think when it comes down to it, this is a great team that just unfortunately has lost momentum in some games where it was crucial.
That's gone right through the slot, trying to find Caleb Dusick cutting into the slot, but nothing there. It's back to the right side around the boards, thrown around by Zach Pappas. Left wing corner, Falcons trying to move it out from there. Bove digging in there, Marcus Macchione on the near side. Stretches across, off the boards, out of the reach of Kramer, comes back to the defense. Moved along by Devontae Dixon into the right wing corner of the Falcons' end. Halbig quickly gets it out of the zone. That'll go over the line. Rams have to tag up, they do that. They'll take a moment to switch up some of the personnel as well, as the Falcons will move it up from Eloan Orme-Lynch up the center of the ice to the left. Now dumps off, and a shot taken, really more of a pass into the right wing corner for no one in particular. Thrown up to center ice, knocked down by Mateo Orme-Lynch with the midsection. Don't think he was intending to do that, but he got the result. But now Framingham pushing forward in a 3-on-1 into the zone. Begarin trying to make a move on, but he loses the handle of the puck as Eloan Orme-Lynch tries to get out of the zone. Kept in at the left point by Collazo. Perhaps that was Jeremy McDonald instead. So around the left side, Mateo Orme-Lynch out of the zone. Thrown in on target by Begarin. That's gloved down by Soderberg. Falcons get it to the neutral zone, pushing forward. There are some moves by Dunn. He pitchforks it to the goal, just trying to get whatever he could on target, and Swanbon will easily have that stopped. 15:03 to go in the first, no score.
Great zone entry there by Dunn, but just going a few plays back, Framingham doing a really good job of forcing them wide outside of those dots and forcing great players like Dunn and the Orme Lynch twins to just end up dumping that puck in and then ultimately losing possession for the Falcons. So great job by the Rams with that one.
Shot right off the draw, taken by Trent Skaggs. That's turned down by Swanbon. Falcons got a couple of their goals against Anna Marie on Saturday night with really good transition play, taking advantage of turnovers, making some good moves on odd man rushes in the offensive zone. Skaggs at the left point. Won't take the shot, he sees the layout there. Shot redirected in! Name it off the stick of Milhorn out in front. But with 14:51 to go in the first, the Falcons have the first strike.
Just such a heads up, or not even a heads up play there by Trenton Skaggs, as that little no look behind his back pass to Sammy Rennick, the assisting man. And off the stick of Milhorn, that is a stats goal right there.
Nick Milhorn's the first Falcon to 10 goals this year. That goal looked a lot like that winning goal against Plymouth State on Thursday night. A shot from the left side, redirected in front. Goalie can't track it quickly enough. Falcons have the first strike. And these two teams met earlier this year right here at the Wallace Civic Center. Framingham had the first goal in that game back on December the 7th. This year's Jackson Collins on the left side. Collins with a backhand shot goes over the net. Cookson swings and misses on that shot in the right circle. Rams try to get out of zone to the red line and no farther. Shot kicked away by Soderberg. They gave one of the assists to Kramer. Was he on the ice for that one? Well, he's on the ice now. And here is Kramer with the move. Shot punched away by Swanbon. Officials might have missed it, might have saw 1-2 and didn't see the other. We'll see if they get that one corrected a little later. Here's Johansson gaining the red and then completing the self-pass in the left wing corner. Pushed around the boards. Looking for his defenseman Haldig. That's an interesting way to do a D-to-D pass. Trying to find Jack Zavidra. Skating around behind the nets. Marcus Macchione not being able to do much with it. Back out to the red line. Dumped into the zone. Swanbon will let that one go. Rams will move it out from behind their own net. Backhand into the fifth row. And we'll get a stoppage play. 13:13 to go in the first. 1-0 Falcons.
Falcons have been shifting their lineups around a lot, kind of rotating through some players who are in and out of the lineup, but obviously now with Kramer and Zavidra playing, Zavidra had his first collegiate goal against Keene State when they played them away in the 4-2 win, and just some great offensive momentum there from Kramer.
Just Zavidra's 6th appearance in the lineup this season, but he's played fairly well when he has gotten in there. Declan Bronte with the shot, looking for a redirection in front, and 2 chances there, stopped by Swanbon. It's the original shot and then a quick follow-on. That ricocheted off the Swanbon's left pad. Yeah, when these two teams met back on December 7th, Framingham had the first goal 2 minutes in from Sam Larkin, but 16 minutes later, it was 4-1 Falcons, and that game was never in doubt after that. It's actually the only game the Falcons have won this season when they conceded the first goal. Obviously not relevant today, but what is relevant is Framingham has conceded the first goal 13 times this season. They have no wins to show for that. 0-13.
13, a lucky number for a few people on this planet. Definitely not for the Rams, though, in this case.
On the other side, the Falcons 9-4-1 when they get the first goal. As that shot turned aside by Swanbon with a slightly dangerous rebound. Players tumbling behind the play as they go forward to the right side. Several other Rams will switch off here. So the Falcons having a lot of trouble even moving the puck around as if it got stuck on a piece of taffy in their own zone or something. Bit of discombobulation. Rams will take advantage. A shot turned aside, a rebound. Can't be put home either. Walker Smith had the shot, and then Bagarin trying to get the rebound. There's McGarren with a chance, stopped by Soderberg. He stays right with it. Loses his stick as well as he's still down, trying to get back up onto his skates. He is now. A little bit of pressure there for the sophomore. Rams regain the zone from Bernier. Battling behind Barcelou, trying to win that puck for the Rams. Near side, here's Cookson. Cookson behind his own net. Moving out to the near side, here's Saavedra. Mishandled and lost. Stretch pass for Zapata, missed the mark, but Cookson wins the race. Icing is waved. Saavedra trying to win that puck battle on the right side boards. Gets the puck, but there's two Rams to follow on. Try to pin it in the corner. Finally, the Rams take it out. McKinney tries to glove that one down, is able to at least break up the momentum for just a brief moment, but the Rams skating around with positioning, gets a shot, but it goes wide. Right side boards, puck popped out of the zone, but off the Falcons bench and out, so the faceoff's gonna come back in. 10:47 to go in the first shot, 7-4 in favor of the Falcons, and they lead 1-0.
The Rams starting to take over possession when the Falcons do have those miscommunications or misfires on passes. But as Zapata kind of missed that entry with the neutral zone, who other than Oliver Cookson to beat that icing and still maintain that possession for the Falcons?
Draw comes to the left of Soderberg. Won by the Falcons, this time coming out of the zone, it works. Knocked down at the red line. But they're gonna rule that a hand pass. And so that brings the faceoff all the way down to the other side.
Rams doing a really great job of containing the Falcons' offense. I know that the Falcons do have a goal on the board, but defensively, I don't think the Rams have been doing a bad job. They're winning these battles along the boards. It's just a matter of can you get it past the defense as they do here.
As the season's gone on, the Rams have definitely been able to get more and more shots on target, especially against some solid teams. They actually had 50 shots against Riviere in 65 minutes of hockey in their last game on Saturday. And the net around to the right side. Trying to hold it at the right point there was Brent Scott. Second effort got it out. Gloved down and moved along. Kinski and now dumped in the zone. He'll stay on as a forechecker as four more Rams switch onto the ice. Barcelou will go near side to Walker Smith. He dumps it in from the wrong side of the red line and will bring the draw right back down to one side of Owen Swanbaugh. 9:55 to go in the first, 1-0 Falcons.
Unfortunate break from the Rams with that icing call. So Falcons have a good opportunity here to get some more shots on net with Dunn on the faceoff.
Alfor in a shot through a bit of traffic. Finally controlled by Swanbaugh. Reactionary didn't quite know where it was. He just knew it came to him really quickly.
So Falcons doubling the Rams in shots on goal in the first, about half of this first period.
The Rams do average 34.5 shots a game generated, 37 shots a game conceded. But the interesting thing that comes to mind is the shooting percentage for the Rams, under 7%. Basically, goaltenders have a .931 save percentage against the Rams this season. That's kind of high. They're not really getting a lot of puck luck. But they're getting a lot of opportunities. Stretched down off a Ram, and now here's Hunter Dunn to the goal, scores! Hunter Dunn! Able to take the misplay by the Rams, complete the stretch pass, and create a break to beat Swanbaugh to make it 2-0.
That is what this line has capitalized on multiple times this season. The Dunn and Jorge Lynch twin line capitalizing where the Rams failed, and ultimately you get that puck on the stick of Hunter Dunn and good things happen for the Falcons.
8th goal of the season for the sophomore from Douglas. Hunter Dunn gets his 20th point of the season. He's the first Falcon to 20 points this season as well. And now a 2-0 lead for the green and gold. Here's Millette trying to keep control of the puck as they're trying to put the pressure right back on. Finally pops free to the near side. Stretched up ice there by Jeremy McDonald. Down shot saved by Soderberg. Taken from the left side by Brady Rossback. Both Orme Lynches will get the assist on the goal by Hunter Dunn. Orme Lynch now up to 19 points. That's Elawan, I should say. Mateo's up to 16. 3 goals, 13 assists.
And those two brothers have not been separated this season, so clearly working their magic with that twin telepathy.
Now Mateo keeping control of that puck. That's Elawan, excuse me. I can get crossed up occasionally. Here's McKinney with a shot. That's blockered away by Swanbon, but loose, and now a shot scores! It's Elawan Orme Lynch, who picks it up in the slot, fires it past Swanbon, 3-0 Falcons.
That's just unfortunate for the Rams. They're unable to clear their zone, and again, this line giving it their all, giving the Falcons the momentum boost they're going to need. And just as we thought that, you know, the Falcons might have a tough time against the Rams, we're going to see a goaltender change here for Framingham in the first period.
Alex Timmons is going to come into the game, the sophomore from Stillwater, Minnesota, making just his 7th appearance of the season. 0-3, 501 goals against, 874 save percentage. But obviously Mike Bailey seeing things are not going quite to plan for the Rams. And so a goaltending change comes out of it. And they go to the goalie who's played the least of the 3 that they have on their roster thus far. But got to try to make a change somewhere. You know, a little bit of a different thing too in terms of size as well. Swanbon's just 5'9". He's one of the shorter goalies in the conference. Not the shortest, but definitely one of the shorter ones. Alex Timmons at 6'1". He's got a few more inches of size. Swanbon lifted after 3 goals on 11 shots, or 10 shots now that they've done the audit, which they do occasionally during the game. We'll give that unassisted to Elawan Orme Lynch. Now he's at 20 points on the campaign. A goal and an assist already in this first period. When these two teams met on December the 7th, the Falcons scored 4 times in the first period. Really put the Rams in a bit of a hole. And now they've scored 3 times in the first period, and it's that same deficit. The Rams were down 4-1 through 1 period last time they met. They're now down 3-0. Those 2 goals, by the way, coming 74 seconds apart. The second and third goals by Hunter Dunn and Elawan Orme Lynch. We have a whistle with 6:25 to go in the first, 3-0 to the green and gold.
This is exactly the type of Falcon hockey we know to be true, and they've struggled to find this a lot during this season. So it must feel good for them to start to finally be playing the quality of hockey they know they can bring to the Wallace Civic Center.
Definitely a well-played first period. It's the Rams trying to get one back. McGarren's shot is turned aside by Soderberg. Flipped out of the zone, settled down by Devontae Dixon. Near side, Millette trying to get sprung free there. Sammy Rennick there as well. It's behind the net, Rams move it around, left side, Milhorn. Halbig, shot, saved by Timmons. That's his first stop in the contest. It's McGarren, stretches over to Jerry Duckett on the left side. Now centered out in front, a good feed. But no finishing there from the Rams. Couldn't get it settled. Collazo tries to go left circle looking for Barcelou. Nothing there. Off the boards and out of the zone. Cameron Craig's the only player back there, and he throws it down the ice. Falcons will take it, flush it straight out of the zone. Elawan Orme Lynch over to Hunter Dunn. Dunn on the left side along to Mateo Orme Lynch. Sticked up in the air, settled down by Elawan in the right wing corner. He's pushed to the boards by Walker Smith. Around and Bronte throws it into the left wing corner, wants to find Dunn. Dunn Centering for Bronte, has to go deep into the right side. He still has it. Bronte throws out in front, trying to find Elouan. His stick was tied up. Mateo Orme Lynch face washed into the boards by Cameron Craig. Hands were up a little higher than I would have liked, but nevertheless. Shot goes well wide, turns into a pass for Elouan. Now to Mateo. On the right side, throw to front, save by Timmins, and another shot is stopped by Timmins as well. The rebound popped right out to Dunn's skates, but that's not the easiest place to try to get a shot off.
At least he got the shot off. I think I would have fallen flat on my face if that puck was in my skates. So just awesome work from this line tonight, as we're going to have a Framingham penalty coming up here. Must have been something after the play, possibly. I did not see the ref's hand go up.
Yeah, I didn't see the arm go up, but the signal was roughing. That was against Walker Smith, the senior from Inner Grove. Yeah, let's see, I was going to say Inner Grove Heights, but the copy and paste I got from the website definitely says Inver Grove Heights in Minnesota. They played for the Hudson Havoc, who are based out of New Hampshire. Shot through traffic, gets to Timmins, rebound out to the left side, ricochets behind the net. Falcons will have the first power play of the contest with under 4.5 to go, up 3-0. 14.6% on the power this year, 6th in the conference. Rams at the bottom of the conference in penalty kill, and in the bottom 10 nationally, 74.3%, 80 out of 87 teams.
And this Falcons power play is definitely one of their units that has been struggling this season. They ended last season second in the MASCAC with their power play, and now obviously being 6th, not necessarily something they've been wanting. So we'll see if they can kind of improve in this game against the Rams.
I feel like for the Falcons over the years, give me a moment as Bagarin comes into the zone. Tries to feed it across, but that's knocked down by the Falcons' skates. It feels like over the years, oftentimes between power play, penalty kill, and discipline, it's pick 2 out of 3. This year, discipline or pick 1 out of 3 to be really good. And this year, it's discipline that's good, but the power play and the penalty kill both have been a little lower than I know Coach Fuller would like to see. Jack Johansson on the right side to Hunter Dunn. Still 45 seconds on this man advantage. 3:15 to go in the first. 3-0 Falcons, held at the left circle. Johansson tries to get it across, knocked down for a moment by Tyler Westfall. Now back to Elouan Orme Lynch, his shot off the leg of Caleb Kinski. Around the boards behind the net, Dunn trying to feed Elouan. Here's Mateo. Holding in the left corner. 20 on the man advantage. Johansson has to reach out just to keep that puck in the zone. The pass was just a little too far ahead of him. Marcus Macchione behind the net, left side. Mateo out to Johansson. Now to the right side, Dunn settles out in front, scores! It pinballs around in front of Timmins and finds its way into the net. Power play goal for the Falcons makes it 4-0.
Marcus Macchione had a goal against Anna Maria, now has a goal against the Rams. The freshman coming in, the third Macchione brother. He's gonna get himself on the board tonight, and his brother Max sitting down just a few feet away from him on that bench. It's gotta feel good to see your younger sibling thriving in the college hockey environment.
4th goal of the season for the freshman from North Kingstown, Rhode Island. Marcus Macchione makes it 4-0. You know, he also scored against Framingham on December the 7th, too. But yeah, Marcus is having a bit of a run here. So should have mentioned for Elouan Orme Lynch when he got his goal, 3rd straight game he scored.
And, you know, that power play goal, just a frustration thing from the Rams as, you know, going down, that was 3-0. Just started to lay on the body a little bit too much, as hockey is very much a contact sport. Just that roughing call signaling that was a little bit too much. So now it'll be 4-0. The Falcons with a full head of steam looking to end this first period.
It was only the 4th penalty taken by Walker Smith all season long, but obviously quite the costly one as Timmins has to go aggressive with the poke check there. get that puck out of danger. This has not been the period Framingham's wanted. They've had a few moments where they've looked solid. There's a shot by McDonald that's turned aside by Soderberg. It was a decent opportunity. Late call against Framingham as well, against Fitchburg, excuse me. So Timotsoff and Saavedra shoots it straight into the net, and deep offense is taken by Cameron Craig.
And this is exactly what I meant with Framingham just getting extremely aggressive, as he's going to grab Saavedra right by the neck, and he's going to take some time to sit and think about that one, as it's very much seen as a disrespect thing. We saw it in the NHL when slap shot in the empty netter and obviously throwing it into the goal on a delayed penalty. But that response, grabbing a player by the neck too much. So we'll see what they kind of go with here, as the refs will kind of detail each player to their own box.
So Saavedra is going to go off in addition to Zapata, who took the initial penalty, and Craig goes as well. I think I heard the official say 5-on-4. I think so. Saavedra and Craig's penalties will cancel, and Zapata's original penalty is what's going to go on the board, is what I believe is going to happen. They have put the penalty on the board for Zapata. They may also be discussing whether or not they want to give a misconduct, perhaps, to Craig as well, for what may be seen as a disproportionate response to what Saavedra did.
And I wonder if they'll give Saavedra unsportsmanlike, or what kind of penalty they're going to give him.
Bastian Collazo will skate over, talk with the officials to get what the call is. He's the captain for the Rams, senior from Victor, New York, counting major. Well, those solid four-year players for the Rams. Now, our referee, one of them, will come over to the bench, talk with seventh-year head coach Mike Bailey, sixth year as head coach of the Rams. A win today for the Rams would be Bailey's 25th career victory. I know the Rams have struggled in recent years. 24-1-12 and 12 is Bailey's record. Doing some research, do you know the last time the Rams had a season where they finished above 500 was 2004?
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a while. They did have a 500 finishing season in 2014 when they went 11-11-4. Had a really good goalie, Nick Caffrelli, at that time. Also knocked the Falcons out of the playoffs that year. That was a really good year for Framingham. I mean, I guess the best years have been the years where they've been able to knock Fitchburg out of the playoffs.
I know, I was about to say, they're definitely a team that's known for doing that.
Well, they've done it twice in the last 11 years. But at this velocity, not going to have a chance to do that this year. Framingham has to win this game to have any chance of making the playoffs. So the Rams on the power play for the first time tonight. Their power play a little better than the Falcons. 15.2%, 14 for 92 this year. Falcons kill a little better than the Rams. 77.5%, 8th in the conference, 64th out of 87 in Division 3. We'll await confirmation on the rest of the penalties that were assessed, but we know that at least 2 minutes or more for Craig and for Saavedra. Held to the left point, and a shot taken by Smith was turned aside by Soderberg. Comes back out to Smith. Holds there, off the boards. Off the left side, Gagarin. Now back to Smith. Withholding, shooting through traffic, redirected wide. Kept in by Sam Larkin on the right side. Gagarin pinned against the boards. Falcons clear it. If we don't see a goal or further shenanigans, this penalty will carry over into the second period. About a 20-second difference between the game clock and the penalties. Just rushing up ice, burst of steam, and that's all for Collazo. Comes out, and a shot taken by Barcelou. This is the mark. Right wing corner, throw down in front off of Soderberg in an interesting direction. Wasn't a bad idea if you tried to go for the bank shot there. That'll bring us to the end of the first period. Falcons are going to be pretty happy with how those 20 minutes go. That's just like the first time they took on the Rams here on December the 7th. They put 4 on the board in the opening stanza. This time they have a 4-0 lead through 20 minutes of play.
Already such an exciting game in the battle of the FSUs, as We've already seen a lot of physicality being brought out between these two teams, so obviously more to come in the next 2 periods or so. And the Falcons going to be a man down when we get back. That's something they definitely have struggled with this season, as their penalty kill obviously is not one of their top tier units, and in the past 2 games has definitely been something that has been a momentum shift. Luckily, they were able to get it done against Plymouth. Unfortunately, unable to get it done against Anna Maria, and we'll see if the Rams can start to make a comeback here. It's going to be a long deficit to climb, but they definitely can do it.
Framingham has played some pretty tough games over the last several games. They've had some games where they've been right in it with really good teams, like Salem and Westfield. Those were 3-2 losses they had recently, a 6-4 loss to UMass Dartmouth. Those are teams the Falcons have been able to get the better of in senses and have gotten the better of them in other senses. But today, the Rams have not had the period that they wanted, and they find themselves down 4 goals to Fitchburg State through 20 minutes of play. The Falcons definitely got to be a solid 20 for them, and we'll talk a little more about what they need to do to continue this strong play. As we're going to take a break, when we come back, we will have the second period of action for you, so don't go away. This is Fitchburg State University Ice Hockey right here on FATV. Back here at the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University. 20 minutes in the books in this MASCAC matchup, in this battle of the FSUs between Fitchburg State and Framingham State. And for the second time these two teams have met this year, it's 4 goals for the Falcons in the first period as they lead 4-0 through 20 minutes of play. Daniel Wolak, Nola Patti here with you, Travis Falk on camera. Happy to have you along with us here today. The Falcons definitely had the better run of play in that first period. Started with Nick Milhorn redirecting a shot from Sammy Rennick. They have confirmed that the assist definitely went to Rennick on that one. And Trent Skaggs just 5:09 into the contest. The Falcons off and running from there.
Yeah, so great offensive momentum for the Falcons. The Rams just not being able to shut down this storm that the Falcons have brewed up here in the first period. Now carrying this on, the Falcons, if they want to come away with the solid win here, they're going to have to first kill off this penalty that Zapata has for the next 19 seconds. And then they're going to have to keep their zone entries clean. I know they've struggled a little bit just being forced to kind of dump that puck in when the Rams able to collapse on them and force them kind of outside of those dots. So keeping the zone entries clean, and then honestly just keep getting shots on net, as we've already seen the goaltender switch for the Rams. As for the Rams, it's just standing strong defensively, trying to get that puck cleared out of your zone, and then trying to force some turnovers, maybe in the neutral zone, get some odd number rushes going, and keep peppering on those shots on Soderberg.
Obviously, the Rams have gone through a lot of adversity this year, 2-17-3 coming into today's contest, and it's not completely outside the realm of possibility for them to try to force a comeback. Falcons, interestingly enough, this year, this is only the 6th game that they've led after 20 minutes. They're 4-1 when they do so. We mentioned the Rams are 0-13 when they concede the first goal. They're also 0-11 when they're down after 20 minutes. So the narrative's not looking great for the Rams, who need to win this game to have any shot of making the playoffs this season. Going back to the scoring recap as well, and talking about that transition play, transitioning from defense to offense, the Falcons getting their second goal from Hunter Dunn as Mateo Orme-Lynch hit a stretch pass down ice, went off of a Rams defenseman, and then Dunn was able to take it, break right to the goal, and beat Swanbon on a break to make it 2-0.
And we've seen that play from Dunn numerous times this season. We saw it on 2 shorthand goals from him in that game against Keene State, and obviously he's a player you're gonna want to find up ice, so great vision there from Orme-Lynch. And
then Eloan Orme-Lynch able to get on the board to make it 3-0 on a shot that was punched away by Swanbon, went up in the air, landed in the slot, and Eloan was the first to get his stick on it, and he was able to fire it right past, made it 3-0, and that chased the sophomore keeper in Owen Swanbon. From there, the Falcons struck on the power play as Marcus Macchione was able to put one home in a whole bunch of helter-skelter. I think he got a redirection right out in front, and that's we've seen Marcus Macchione get a few goals this year, and just how he's able to set himself up in front of the paint and really work that spot as a power forward, really making it tough on opposition goalkeepers.
And he's tall, he's got a big frame, so he sets that screen on the goalie, and he's hard to push off his feet, so the defenseman not able to clear him out of that crease area. He gets a stick on, and Falcons up 4-0 at the end of the first.
So still a 19-second carryover penalty against Chris Zapata. He comes over to the box. Cameron Craig goes to the box as well. He's serving 2 minutes for cross-checking, and then Jack Saavedra into the box. If the box score is correct in the live stats, Saavedra actually got a 2 and a 10. They gave him a misconduct in addition to 2 for roughing. So he's going to be sitting for a little longer. Kind of felt like Craig should be the one the other way around, unless the officials decided that perhaps it was all touched off by, because it was all touched off by Saavedra shooting the puck on the delayed penalty into the empty net, that they figure that it should be Saavedra who has to take the misconduct in that case.
So definitely not the most sportsman-like play there for Saavedra, so he'll sit, have some time in the box for that one.
10 seconds to go on this power play as the shot taken from the right side by Ashton Collazo is gloved by Freddie Soderberg. Made 8 saves in the first period. Owen Swanbon went 7 for 10 before he was given the boot. And 3 of 4 was Alex Timmins, who's taken over in goal. Another sophomore keeper for the Rams. Framingham wins the draw. Shot attempted by Jake Barcelou, or a passer, something to that nature. But whatever he was trying to do didn't work out because he completely whiffed on the puck. And with all that doubling back and everything that had to come from that, the penalty is now expired. Zapata's out of the box. Back to full strength. What is Craig doing out of the box here? That is an issue. He was absolutely not supposed to come out of the box there. And that is the most obvious too many men penalty against Framingham State. Although part of it could also be, you know, there is a penalty box attendant there who has perhaps opened the door inadvertently, thinking that Craig's penalty was supposed to expire there, and it was, but not until the next whistle. They may not charge a penalty here if they feel it was because the box operator had erred in his judgment to allow Craig to come out of the box. And now the referee is going to talk with him there, and I think that's what's going to happen. The attendant opened the box in error, let Craig out of the box inadvertently, so they won't give the too many men because he was just following orders.
And no penalty being up on that board, so I guess a little bit just a miscommunication there, and luckily the Rams aren't going to get penalized for that one. We normally see a lot of those too many men calls just with the switching off the bench. This one was fully the Rams playing with too many men.
You know, there was a play that happened about a decade ago in which a penalty had expired to a New England college player who was about to come onto the ice. But the play came right to him, and while standing in the penalty box, he played the puck on, and then New England College ended up scoring a goal. They talked about it and determined that he played the puck illegally from off the ice, and so they chalked off the goal and charged him with another penalty. As the shot there by Mateo Orme Lynch is stopped by Timmins. So in this case, I think this is the right call because at the end of the day, that was a mistake made by the penalty box attendant who, it's just something that happens sometimes. We all make mistakes, and it was more his fault than it was Craig's fault that he came onto the ice at the incorrect time. Granted, Craig should have known better that this was a penalty that he matched up against Saavedra's penalty, and thus he knows he has to wait until the next whistle. But I think at that time, you know, if a guy is telling me, you're free, you're going to take the freedom, aren't you? So I've got no problem with that icing against the Falcons.
Sort of said, your time and timeout is up.
And it's like, oh, okay, I'll take it.
Always interesting that in the sport of hockey, they put grown men in timeout in separate boxes when they get a penalty.
Imagine some of the older rinks where there's just a very small pane of glass separating the two, too. It's like where it felt like you could get real arguments between them. And of course, there are some of the rinks in which the benches are on the same side, in which the penalty box is actually a separate part of the bench. Which is, those are kind of weird setups. But it be what it be. Galen Kinski has it back in his own end for Framingham, stretches it out to the near side and feeds Luke Yabetta. Throws it down the ice on the right side and comes back to Yabetta. The near side, he's got the biggest number in this contest, 38. Framingham's got a couple of skaters who wear numbers in the 30s. All of them have dressed today, too. Jeremy McDonald wears 36, Sam Larkin 37, Luke Yabetta 38. Here's a steal by the Rams. Michael Kennedy trying to move it along. Not much going there, and the Falcons will pick it up back in their own end. 17:55 to go, second period, 4-0 Falcons. Stretch up to Milhorn. He's got 3 Rams surrounding him. Milhorn will just play it along the boards and take the hit. Millette tries to dig it out behind the net. Rams move it along to the near side. Up ice to Duckett. He'll throw it around to the right wing corner. Cameron Craig. Now truly out of the box as he should be. He has definitely well and truly served his time. As here's Toivo Kramer from the red line. Just pokes it into the zone and gives his team time to change the personnel. Falcons force a turnover. Marcus Macchione on the left side, nutmegs a man, throws it across. Rennick couldn't get to the loose puck quickly enough. Falcons try to steal away from Beauvais. They will do that. Beauvais goes right point. Now across to Halbig. Halbig shoots through a lot of traffic, bounces around, never gets through to Timmins. Back out to left point and Halbig. Johansson, shot wide. A lot of pace on that one. Missed everybody, including the net. Now a foot race, here's Dusek to the right side. Caleb Dusek is senior forward, he's from Dallas. Now battling in the corner, trying to keep control of this puck. 3 Falcons against 2 Rams. Falcons outnumbered them, win the battle. Try to push it out of the zone. Devontae Dixon with the steal, shot blocked, second chance, gets through to Soderberg, he'll stop that. Shots in this period, 3-2 in favor of the Rams. Just under 4 minutes gone. 4-0 lead for the Falcons. Right circle, Rams with a lot of zone time here, and a shot from the right side, bad angle, stopped by Soderberg, another chance save, and Dixon trips over the puck as he tried to set that up on his stick, and ends up putting it wide. Great zone time, great chances for Framingham. Another shot from a bad angle, turned aside by Soderberg. The Falcons get it out of the zone.
That was off the initial bad pinch there from Halbig as he lost his line, and then great recovery by Johansson. The Rams just able to have so much zone time.
2 great chances there for the Rams. First shot denied off of McGarren. Second chance by Bernier. Both of them turned aside by Soderberg. Here's Eloan Orme-Lynch with a shot save by Timmins. The rebound couldn't be put back in by Marcus Macchione, but he was in a good position for it.
Rams unable to clear their zone again defensively as Bronte's able to keep that one in.
Round to the left side, Hunter Dunn, Eloan Orme-Lynch. Out to the right corner, Mateo across, Andrew Wolleson throws it behind the net. Ricochets off the boards and it's picked up on the right side by Halbig. Try to get it back to Wolleson, just not enough pace. Taken by the Rams instead. And driven into the boards there was a Ram. It's number 8 didn't catch. Near side, Dunn shoots. Maybe Timmins got a piece of it with the glove. Regardless, goes into the netting and out of play. 14:40 to go in the second.
Aggressive check there from Wolleson. Look to be on Larkin as he's taking a second to recover from that one, but just that previous play where Bronte stepped down from his line trying to make some moves. I love how offensively the defensemen play on this Falcons team. They really get involved, and you never know who's going to score for the Falcons, as you know, we've seen Jack Johansson get a couple, even an overtime goal, and Chris Halbig getting an overtime goal as well.
That one goes into the 4th row and actually ends up landing on a blanket worn by one of the fans, because it gets a little chilly here in the Civic Center.
Some days colder than others. Today, pretty decent.
Yeah, it's not bad. I can feel a little chill on my hands, but that's why I wear fingerless gloves. Face off to the right of Alex Timmins, 14:25 to go, second period, 4-0 Falcons. They win the draw, comes all the way out to McKinney at the right point. Slaps around the boards, looking for Collins behind the net. Collins able to settle it, get it back to McKinney. Holding at the right point, thrown into the slot off a Rams skate. Down to the left corner, dug out for a moment, sent right back towards the boards. Players hit and tumbling into the boards. Puck battle eventually won by the Falcons. Skaggs throws it wide. McKinney pinching up on the right side. Playing it along, Zapata rides the boards behind the net, dug out by Smith. Around Kinski with a touch. Now moved up ice by Dixon. Dropped off right side, Yabetta. Takes a hit from Zapata, who'll just knock it down the ice. Didn't hit it very hard, but hit it hard enough, and it'll go for icing.
Falcons laying the body on left and right in this match. I feel like Framingham started to pick up their aggressiveness in the last few minutes of that first period. Now the Falcons starting to respond with that. And when you got a guy like McKinney lining you up on the boards, you know that one's gonna hurt.
McKinney tied for the tallest player on the team at 6'4", 215 pounds. He's the tallest of all the skaters. Shot right off the draw by Begarin was blocked. Goes in the left wing corner, taken by Skaggs behind his own net. Doubles back and moves it around. Near side, played briefly with a high stick by McDonald, but Falcons played it on, so no harm there. Down the ice it will go, and Skaggs holds back in his own end, stretches it up. Zapata gets a stick on the blue line to mitigate any potential icing. Rams pick it up on the near side. Milhorn go back to the D and back to himself. Milhorn moves it forward, tries to race after that one. There's Barcelou on the right side for the Rams. Trying to win that puck battle, referee getting tied up in it as well. They exist on the ice with everybody else. Now to the right side, sent across, but nothing there for Framingham. Jeremy Millette protecting the puck on the near side. Sammy Rennick and Scott Begarin getting tangle up with each other in front of the Rams bench, having an argument. Officials will let it go. You want to have arguments, there's a whole clinic you can go to for that. Dumped all the way down, Soderberg will paddle that down. Declan Bronte behind the net, throws it out, but it's intercepted by Duckett. His shot is blocked, second chance blocked as well. Third chance also blocked. Fourth chance is whiffed on. A lot of opportunities there, none of them got to Soderberg. Rams still have control of it. Behind the net, Duckett. Looking, holding, trying to feed in the right side. Wanted Michael Kennedy, freshman from Michigan. Couldn't find him. Entering the zone was Cameron Craig. He keeps control of it. Passes it out, but finds Jeremy Millette instead, and now Toivo Kramer skating up the ice. The New York City native, dispossessed after he runs into two Rams. That one sent to the blue line, nearly knocked down by Bove, but instead taken by the Rams. Collazo wears the hit there. Falcons more than happy to lay the boom here. And there's another one. McKinney sends a Ram to the ice. And you know the Rams have got to be feeling some frustration icing against Framingham. You know, this is a game where if they don't come away with the victory, they will not play in the postseason this year. They've put themselves in quite the hole in this contest as well, down 4-0 with 11:08 to go in the second period. And you can definitely feel the energy, frustration, and the like flowing through the air.
And it's not like they're not getting opportunities. They have 14 shots on goal. It's just a matter of they're not able to capitalize when they get this. The Falcons have had a lot of unforced turnovers that could have gone bad ways for them, but the Rams just not offensively strong enough to capitalize there.
Here's Mateo Orme-Lynch holding on to it in the right circle. He can control it, backhanding along to Eloan Orme-Lynch. Tries to throw it for Dunn, who got the puck eventually. The save was made by Timmins. The puck was loose and never covered. But obviously the officials lost sight of the puck. And the whistle has to be blown there. Obviously with Framingham State having predominantly black uniforms, probably a little easier to lose the puck in all the pads and all the uniforms with that. Well, I think I've mentioned this in a previous broadcast this year, but I don't think I've asked you, Nola, but there's a philosophy over white pads versus colored pads. Have you heard that argument before when it comes to goalies?
I definitely have, and honestly, I don't really know what my personal take is on that. I mean, I just know I can go from a lacrosse standpoint with the color of your netting, the mesh on your stick, so yellow stick, yellow ball. So, I don't know. I'm indecisive in that argument, I guess, with the goaltender's pads.
Yeah, so the arguments they'll make is white pads mean that a player who's not looking very hard will try to shoot into them, thinking that's open ice. It's a shot taken from the right side by Eloane, stopped by Timmins. Whereas with dark-colored pads, such as black pads, the puck may get lost in the pads when you're doing puck battles, might be able to get a couple extra whistles, and maybe the players have trouble finding it against, looking against the board, looking against the pads, looking for the puck in the background. I'm personally a dark pads person. Then again, the goalie pads that I own are white because that's what was on sale. I do not have the disposable income to buy brand new pads of my design. The white ones were cheap and they were close enough to my size. They're probably an inch too tall for me. As Begarin tries to get a shot off, but couldn't get it cleanly away. Here's Jackson Collins. He's got one ram around him to beat. Shot kicked away by Timmins. Thrown around, save, rebound. That one goes wide. Another great chance for the Falcons.
Falcons going to argue that should have been an interference call, as it doesn't seem like the ram was going straight for the puck. Instead, try to hit Collins, but will play on instead.
We've only seen 2 penalties in the run of play in this contest. We've actually had more penalties on, well, actually, now that I start saying that, we have a delayed call here, and it's against Fitchburg. Rams have the extra attacker on. 6 skaters on the ice. Walker Smith, that went over and back. Connor Foley, our linesman, was right on top of that.
So it looks like Captain Oliver Cookson going to take 2 minutes for hooking. Now this is definitely something we mentioned multiple times, not even just this game, but this season, is the Falcons' penalty kill is not strong enough to constantly keep going on it. So 2-minute opportunity for the Rams to get themselves on the board and start to climb that ladder of deficit, and we'll see if they can get it done here.
Even at this point in the season, the Falcons had only been on the kill 71 times. Not a whole lot. Framingham's been slightly more disciplined in the sense 74, only slightly less disciplined, 74 opportunities on the kill coming into today. Way more penalty minutes because they've had a few misconducts, few too many misconducts, because you see penalty minutes per game is just penalty minutes per game. Here's a potential breakaway for the Falcons. Great opportunity for Milhorn, just couldn't get the puck away at the end, and now numbers back the other way for Framingham. They lose the puck here. Milhorn trying to create a second opportunity in 30 seconds. Nothing going there. Falcons try to clear it, just kept in by Barcelou. To the right side, Collazo shot. Soderberg got a piece of it and it trickled wide. Off the boards, but it comes right to Collazo. Around for Rosbach. On the left side, Falcons yelling, get it out of the zone. They'll get it out here. Milhorn gains the red, dumps it down, and 4 fresh pairs of legs come onto the ice for the Falcons. 65 seconds to go on the man advantage for Framingham. It's their second power play of the night. 7:50 to go in the second. Falcons leading 4-0. Begarin getting a good run. Finally held up enough that he couldn't get anything off. Was able to move it along. Now Begarin has it back. It's Kinski in the right wing corner. Behind the net. Everyone battling for it. Eventually poked free by the Falcons. Pass goes behind Collins, but he'll switch off here. Scott Begarin, team leader in points coming in today, 14. The sophomore from Moreno Valley, California. He's a business and IT major. I find it very interesting how Peters, give me a moment here as the shot blocker aside from Begarin. I find it interesting how Framingham separates information technology and computer science into 2 completely different disciplines. They're very similar in a sense. This McDonald shot is knocked down by Halbig's stick. Out of the box, Cookson. Falcons back to full strength. Puck deep in the slot, but nothing going there. Falcons moving it up ice. Here's Mateo Ormelinch trying to get around Devin Shepard. Puck goes along out of the reach of Duckett to the near side. Rollison, his shot flutters into the left circle. Pushed forward here by the Rams. Still moving it along into the left wing corner. That's all it goes. Here's Hunter Dunn. Dunn's got two defensemen to beat. He's trying to create some space to shoot on Timmins. Feeds it in front, was looking for Eloan. Pass was just a little off the mark. Eloan Orme Lynch getting to it on the right side, just getting a stick on it, but moved aside by the Rams. Devontae Dixon skating up on the left side, senior from Aurora, Colorado. International business major. They have some very interesting majors at Framingham. Definitely some majors they have that Fitchburg State doesn't have.
100%. And there was Craig unable to hold his line defensively. So I'll see a whistle and a stoppage in play for that offsides call.
5:42 to go in the second period, 4-0 Falcons. And Caleb Kinski also a computer science and mathematics major. I don't know if he's just double majoring or if he's trying to, or if that's just what the major is called. At Fitchburg State, they took, as a computer science graduate, they would always encourage us to go for a mathematics minor because you only need to take 2 additional classes to the major requirements to get the minor. I did not do that because, as it turns out, I'm very bad at calculus, and I imagine doing math that's even harder than calculus would break my brain. So I didn't go for that. Minored in theater, though, because that's completely different. Here's Skaggs on the left side, can't hold on to it. Backhands in the long. Luke Gebetta lost his twig in all of that. Cleared out of the zone off of Skaggs' stick to Isaiah McKinney. Tries to shake off the hit from Palazzo. Now Gebetta at the center of the ice. McKinney gets a stick on that one. There's a clean out there and some more arguing at the center circle. Marcus Macchione getting tied up with Gebetta.
He's another one that you do not want to meet at center ice.
Absolutely, as Rams gain the red line. Dump and attempt knocked down by Skaggs. Second attempt also knocked down by Skaggs. Here's Marcus Macchione, already has a goal in today's contest, but he's dispossessed. Stretched down ice, Falcons have completed their line change, nothing wrong with that. Here's Reddick, trying to feed on the right side, wanted Milhorn cutting down, but he couldn't get a stick on it. A few of those centering passes just haven't quite worked the way the Falcons have wanted. Had a number of chances. Let taken down to the ice, but legally. Here's Milhorn, backhands in front, wanted to find Reddick looking for the redirection, couldn't get a stick on it. Wonder if there's a few more opportunities in that case where the Falcons just take the shot on Timmins and work off of that as opposed to trying to get that feed. Obviously, they've had a lot of these opportunities, especially in this period. I feel they've had like 5 of those and they've not capitalized on any of them. Shot from the left side is stopped by Soderberg. Puck comes to the near side, backhanded down the ice by Saavedra, who spent much of the second period in the penalty box, 12 minutes in all for his transgression. As a shot stopped by Soderberg, and he'll hold no rebound. 3:13 to go in the second, 4-0 Fitchburg.
Soderberg actually kind of going famous, you could call it famous, but the video of his save in that shootout being posted on the Bar Down Instagram page where everyone kind of in the comments praising him for such an incredible paddle save. So cool to see kind of Fitchburg State being put on the map in that sense.
Yeah, just a really, really cool save, and you know, trying to pull out the Forsberg was Alex Walker denied there as he goes to, I remember seeing a compilation a couple days later, just watching of people doing the Forsberg, and you realize something, which is all the successful Forsbergs are by shooters beating the goalie to the right. There's a good reason why they don't try to beat them to the left, and Freddie Soderberg showed exactly why you don't. Here's Eloan Orme Lynch, puts that behind the net. Declan Bronte's pulling that out, throws it towards goal, but that's blocked in front. Framingham has done well to block some shots. That's a high-rising shot over the crossbar. Out of the zone it comes. That one off a stick, sails into the netting and out of play.
Fitchburg having some good offensive opportunities in this second period, unable to capitalize. And although they do have that 4-0 lead, they want more goals. They want to start putting away teams by a ton of goals just to help them, confidence-wise. They've struggled this year. Obviously, that loss to Anna Maria, where they had it going into that third period and ended up losing it 6-3. They want these huge wins to kind of boost their confidence in their game, especially going into playoffs.
Sent down the ice will. Oops. I was going to say will not be icing, but they gave the icing, but Dunn had very clearly won the race, and the official, I think, realized immediately, oh, that's not what I was supposed to do there.
You can hear it from the fan section, too. They clearly knew that was not supposed to be an icing call.
Yep. So to center ice, because that's where you go when you screw up an icing call. Yep. Obviously, in high school hockey, it's no touch icing, so they would have blown the whistle on that. It would have been the right call for that level. But it's been a few years since Hunter Dunn played for Hopedale Milford. Dunn taking it behind the net. Eloan Orme-Lynch there, but Devontae Dixon able to skate it up. One of several alternate captains the Rams have, 4 in all, wearing the A patches. It's also interesting how teams choose to give out the captain's patches. For instance, Fitchburg State this year, 3 captains, no alternates. That shot scores! Devontae Dixon from the left circle. Able to beat Soderberg and get the Rams on the board with 69 seconds to go in the second.
And that's just the Falcons not being able to clear the defensive zone. You can't give the Rams any opportunities to get that shot on net because it will end up going in. So unfortunate for Soderberg, not going to get that shutout today, but the Rams have some momentum swinging their way. We'll see if they can string together the next couple opportunities and see if they can start to climb.
They've not had a bad period. They've been doing well to block shots. They've been doing well to create opportunities. They are out shooting the Falcons 10-7 right now. And that shot just threw a lot of traffic. Lone assist goes to Devin Shepard. 3rd assist of the season for Shepard. 2nd goal of the year for the senior from Colorado with Devontae Dixon. He's been a 4-year player for the Rams. It's a shot taken by McDonald, ends up going wide, trying to center back in front, maybe looking for Iabetta. Instead, the Falcons will skate it up. Here's Kramer out of the zone, up to the right side. Fed forward, trying to get it to Marcus Macchione out of his reach. Going for the wraparound attempt. He scores! Toivo Kramer beats Timmins to the post. And the Falcons get that goal back.
And that's got to feel good for Kramer as a player who has been in and out of the lineup this year. Hasn't had the best performance as he's been hoping for, but able to net that goal, and Falcons respond almost instantaneously, not letting the Rams get any sort of hope in this game.
It's interesting how the Falcons are sort of nonchalantly celebrating this one as if they barely believe it happened. Just 50 seconds after Framingham got on the board, the Falcons restore the 4-goal lead. I wasn't 100% sure it worked, but the referee there pointed. That's good enough for me. One more crunching hit into the boards as time will expire in this second period. Well, they waited till the last minute and change for some goal scoring to happen, but both teams break through for a goal each. And through 2 periods of play, it's still a 4-goal lead for the Falcons, 5-1.
Both teams missing some key opportunities to capitalize on goals, but I mean, like you just said, they both got one, so we'll see who can end up taking it themselves in this third period, as Framingham has scored a majority of their goals in the third, 23 out of their 52. The Falcons, statistically, this is their worst period that they're going into, so we'll see if that narrative can kind of stand and what team's going to come out on top.
Yeah, the Falcons have been outscored 26-17 in the third. You mentioned Framingham has scored 23 goals in the third period. Maybe I'm a glass half empty guy, but I also noticed they've conceded 44 goals in the third period this year. That's a minus 19 differential. This is the Framingham team that gets worn down as the game goes on. So is Fitchburg. So that means they're sort of on even terms in a sense, aren't they?
I guess in a way, so it'll be interesting to see which team can kind of rally up their energy and move forward. It feels like the Falcons still not playing with as much energy as they did against Plymouth. Definitely seeing a lot more hits in this game. I feel like the Plymouth game, the Falcons were the ones giving those hits, and obviously they're giving a lot tonight, but the Rams giving it right back to them. So definitely seeing a lot more physicality in this game being shown, and just an incredible hockey game. Both these teams always provide a great watch. So for those watching at home and even those in the stands, I'm sure this is a game that they're very much enjoying. Maybe one team and fan base more than the other, but overall, pretty good game.
And we've already seen anything can happen in these games here at the Civic Center this year. We've seen comebacks from this deficit before. So stick around, because there's 20 more minutes of interesting hockey coming up, and you're not going to want to miss it. So we'll take a break. When we come back, third period of action will be coming up next right here on FATV. Back here at the Wallace Civic Center on the campus of Fitchburg State University. 2 periods in the books here in this MASCAC match between the Falcons of Fitchburg State and the Rams of Framingham State. And in this battle of the FSUs, the home FSU currently prevailing by a score of 5-1. Daniel Bolak, Nola Patty here with you. Travis Falk on camera. Once again, as always, we thank you for joining us. All the scoring happened really in the last minute and change of that period. Devontae Dixon able to break up the shutout for Freddie Soderberg. A shot through some traffic that just beat Soderberg glove side to the near post. And that was Dixon's second goal of the season. But it took just 50 seconds for the Falcons to respond with another player getting his second goal of the season in Toivo Kramer.
That first goal that the Rams had scored, that's just Falcons not being able to clear their zone offensively, so they'll be punished for that one with a goal. And then Kramer able to get that wraparound goal. No one was really sure if it went in, but as soon as the ref signaled that it was a good goal, Kramer, could see him celebrating as his second goal of the season. The senior been in and out of the lineup for the Falcons, able to net himself one, and that's definitely a finally moment for him.
Absolutely. Just the second goal of the year for Toivo Kramer, the senior from New York City, the economics major, getting on the board with the nifty wraparound that fooled most people in the building, I imagine. So the Falcons now a 5-1 lead for the green and gold through 2 periods of play this season. The Falcons 7-2-1 when they lead after 40, although one of those 2 losses just came 2 days ago against Anna Maria. Meanwhile, for the Rams, here's another 0 for stat for them. They're 0 for 14 when they trail after 40 minutes. I'd like to give them more positive stats, but that's all I got. I mean, the 2-10 on the road, that's, at least there's no 0 there, but yeah, it's just, Framingham knows this is that if they don't come away with this victory, they will definitely finish bottom 2 in the conference. They take 8 of 10 this year, so they don't get at least 4 goals in the next 20 minutes. The last 2 games are going to be just trying to spoil everybody else's parades.
And for the Falcons, maintaining a win here is going to be key, and for them to do that, I feel like a broken record saying this, they need to stay out of the box. Obviously, Framingham having a couple opportunities on the power play, we're not able to capitalize there, but we've seen it rear its ugly head in a few games for Falcons this year where that penalty kill killed them. So we'll see what they can do with the remaining 20 minutes of regulation, and if Framingham can start to make a comeback here, it'll be a Herculean effort, but one that could be done as they are away.
It absolutely can happen, and Framingham's played some good games down the stretch, kept a lot of good teams in close games, and have made a couple of comeback attempts of their own. I know they were down against Riviere going into the third. Scored a goal, conceded a goal, scored a goal in quick succession, made it 4-4, forced overtime, got through that. Ended up winning the shootout. Got a precious point in the standings with that shootout win. Got them to 8 points. But they need to get at least to MCLA 16, and obviously an MCLA victory down the stretch will obviously seal Framingham's fate. But at least the Rams know that they're not the ones doing themselves in if they can come away with the victory. And with a 4-goal comeback in the third, anything's possible. How much momentum that could give you. But nevertheless, Falcons going left to right in the third, Rams going right to left. Palazzo backhands it down the ice to the left side for Brady Rossback. Around the boards, Halbig gets to it first. Touch on there by Dunn. A shot is blocked out in the slot. Backhanded, flipped up in the air. Soderberg's got to watch that one. That was no can of corn, the way it bounced out in front of him. Those bouncing pucks are way more dangerous than they look. Hunter Dunn trying to win this race to the puck, but Scott Begarin staying right with him. Comes to the near side, up the ice. Here's Bobby Bernier with a move on for Begarin. Back for Bernier. Past the stick of Begarin. Goes out to the right point. A shot misses the mark. Backhanded along by Brent Scott. Left wing corner. Fought for and finally cleared out of the zone. Rams dump back in as they're tagging up. Soderberg uses the paddle to move it right onto Declan Bronte's stick. Falcons will move it out of the zone. Milhorn gets the pass. Has to get around Scott. Moves it around to Millette, past Milhorn, trying to not far enough for Rennick. Around the boards to the left side, but Trent Skaggs able to come up here. Move towards the net, backhanded along, but couldn't find Milhorn's blade. Flip down the ice, and it will go for icing. 18:15 to go in the third. 5-1 Falcons in front. Rams did outshoot the Falcons 10-8 in the second period.
The Falcons able to keep the Rams off the board. They don't need any more goals in this game, but they've had a lot of opportunities where either the pass didn't connect to the stick properly, or the player's stick just wasn't on the ground in general. So
shot there from the point, stopped by Timmins. Rebound couldn't be corralled and then sent wide of the net. On the left side, delayed penalty. This is against Framingham. It's going to be an elbow.
We've seen a couple of those hits from the Rams going a little bit too high, looking like Matt Rempe out here with the little chicken wings. So we'll see a Ram gonna sit in the box for elbowing there, or that'll be high sticking rather. We'll call him for high sticking that, but
yeah, first gesture, yeah, they got themselves crossed up there. That first gesture definitely looked like an elbow to me, although maybe it was just, you know, putting his hand up and then I didn't see him do the follow throw. Nevertheless, Tyler Westfall in the box for the 4th time this season. Falcons 1 for 1 on the power play, and a shot from the left side stopped by Alex Timmins. Owen Swanbon got the start, but was lifted after conceding 3 times on 10 shots. It's been Alex Timmins since.
And you're going to see on this power play for the Falcons, they're going to park Marcus Macchione right in front of that goalie. And he's seen a couple of his goals on this season from that exact spot.
So high sticking is the official call. Shot scores! Top left corner for Jack Johansson. Second power play goal of the night for the Falcons, and they lead 6-1.
And this is exactly what I'm talking about with these defensemen having offensive momentum, as that is Jack Johansson's 7th goal of the season, making 16 points, and he's looking like a forward out there with how many goals he has scored.
Some of the goals he scored like he was a forward. That time just a brilliant shot from the point. Didn't need to be tipped on the way. There's been a few of those goals that he scored too, including in the Anna Maria game. A player such as Marcus Macchione is able to get a tip on it. Didn't need a tip there. Now a 2-on-1 perhaps for the Falcons. Here's Millette in front. Milhorn scores! Nick Milhorn with his second of the night. The cross-ice speed finally pays off for the Falcons. And it's a 6-goal lead.
This is definitely putting the dagger to the heart of any momentum the Rams are trying to keep up here, as 6-goal lead with 17:30 left to go. It's a big one, and I'm not going to say that the Rams are out of this game because anything can happen in the sport of hockey, but it's looking like the Falcons are starting to take over this game in the third.
And you talked about it too, the Falcons want to put away teams and come away with the victories, and it's like, I'm not going to say that although you mentioned they don't need any more goals necessarily, it's not, but they're not going to stop if they get the opportunity. 2 goals in 15 seconds for the Falcons. 7-1 the score. You know, there have been some games between these two teams in which Framingham has played so tough, been difficult to solve. It's a shot taken from the left side, gloved by Soderberg.
The Rams had a pretty good second period as they were getting opportunities and laying the body on, stopping the Falcons from getting shots. But the Falcons took that personally, and something was said in that locker room. 2 quick goals just at the start of the third, and Falcons offense looking strong now.
That's what we wanted to see out of them. Millette and Rennick get the assist on the goal by Milhorn, his second goal of the contest. Meanwhile, so there's the goal there. Mateo Orme-Lynch and Marcus Macchione getting the feeds. Here's Saavedra on the left side. Kramer now a little too strong for Macchione. It has to be knocked down by McKinney instead. Toivo Kramer, left side, Saavedra, swings and misses a little bit. That one pops high in the air, ripples the net, and we'll get a stoppage. 17:01 to go in the third, 7-1 Falcons. Feels like, I was just thinking, only 29 seconds passed between Milhorn's second goal and all that run of play. Felt a little low to me. Maybe the passage of time just feels a little different while you're confirming goals and checking other things. Nevertheless, Eloan has it not lost off his stick. McKinney able to get it to Skaggs. That shot ends up going wide. May have touched a couple of bodies on the way. Now back to McKinney. McKinney's shot gloved by Timmins. Holds for a draw.
We've seen this line produce a lot this season, but also tonight as the Twins alongside of Dunn, they've been going to work.
2 points each from my count for both of the Orme-Lynch twins. Mateo with 2 assists, Eloan with a goal and an assist. Scored in 3 straight games if I've done my math correctly. Falcon wipes out there, trying to keep control of the puck was Michael Kennedy, and he's sent to the ice for his efforts. Dunn trying to stick it along. Jerry Duckett on for Devontae Dixon. He's got the goal for the Rams. On the right side, Framingham trying to pin it against the boards in the left wing corner. Falcons dig it out and send it out of the zone. Back in. The Rams send it, and they'll change up the lines as Halbig holds on to it. Throw it up ice to the center. Looking for Zapata, who couldn't really keep control of it. Have that back here, up for Cookson. Cookson with the stretch pass off the stick of Collins. It's Ashton Collazo. Just has trouble holding on to it in general, and Collins with the takeaway. He blows a tire out in front. Zapata can't get anything off. That was a slight cavalcade of comedy there, and a 3-on-2 back the other way as Collazo across cannot be handled by Westfall. Puck work and the control is looking sloppy really for both of these teams as Collins was ahead of the puck, and so he has to tag up instead of going after it. Falcons hold on the near side and move it out. Off the boards. And settled by the Rams. Bobby Bernier not able to find one of his teammates. 14-15 to go in the third period. Falcons lead by 6. Definitely one of the more powerful offensive performances of the season, especially here at home. They try to feed Bove. He's able to get control of it as he lost it off his skates for a moment. Sent to the ice after depositing that pass. Puck bounces over the stick of Bronte. Seriously, the ice is probably, feels like it's been worn down as the season has gone on, because it feels so much more difficult for these teams, not just for Fitchburg and for Framingham, but for other teams that have come in to really play the puck as they would like.
Even on those boards, they've kind of taken an awkward bounce sometimes behind the goalies off, you know, the boards where the Zamboni comes through. It kind of just has a dead bounce, or the bounce comes out, and we saw it with the game against Anna Maria when that puck kind of came back at Falkenhagen, ended up in the back of the net, and Falcons ended up losing that game off just an awkward rebound off that backboard.
Yeah, pull cushions, these boards are not. Nick Milhorn now with 11 goals in the season. Feeds it out, and now here's McKinney. He's got some space to fire through. But it closed up, and it was well blocked by the Rams. There's Caleb Dusek wearing that one. Stretched up, Milhorn gets a stick on the right side. Falcons will change lines. It's the only game in the MASCAC today, by the way, so I can't give you an out-of-town scoreboard. Obviously, a Monday night is not a normal night for conference play. But, you know, late in the season, and this is a rescheduled game from the 6th. Would have played it at Loring if there had not been bad weather. That game would have been 11 days ago, but bad weather happens.
So the Falcons now facing a 3-game week as they will play away at Westfield on Thursday and then home against Riviera on Saturday, facing their senior day. So that'll be exciting to celebrate all 5 of the seniors.
Absolutely.
3 of those being captains.
Absolutely as well. Here's Saavedra. Saavedra on the left side looking for some space. Goes around to the right. Tries to feed to Cookson. Couldn't find him cleanly enough. And out of the zone it goes. And captains Oliver Cookson, Jack Johansson, Michael Macchione. But also Toivo Kramer and Sammy Rennick to be honored as well for senior day. Thrown in on Soderberg. He'll glove that down. Falcons will stretch it up ice. Here's Dunn. Trunk feeds that towards goal. It's sticked away by Alex Timmons. Allen Ford in front of the bench, delayed offside against the Rams. They'll tag back up. Eloan, now here's Mateo with a burst of speed. Mateo Orme Lynch is stopped by Timmons.
Tried to sneak that one 5-hole, but great save there.
13 saves on the night for Alex Timmons. 14 now as they put a shot on the board. They've adjusted a little bit to change what we've got in the live stats. Mateo Orme Lynch has racked up a number of points this season, but he's only had 1 game this year that he's actually scored in. That was the first meeting against Riviere, where he scored 3 goals all in a row. And he hasn't scored in any other game. Offside against the Rams. But it hasn't stopped Mateo Orme Lynch from being a great contributor offensively this year. 14 assists this season.
And a lot of those going to either his brother or Dunn. So great work by them. And if you don't believe in twin telepathy, well, I think the Falcons are a pretty good shower of that it exists.
Bronte up on the left side. Past Bove now moved along by Kramer, who's got a goal in this contest. Kramer holding the right circle. Bronte back for Kramer. Shot through a lot of traffic. Timmons able to stop it. Marcus Macchione getting on, turning that towards goal, but cut down in front. Battling forward in the left wing corner. Devontae Dixon will skate it out. 10:20 to go in the third. 6-goal lead for the Falcons. Kinski finding Dixon. Not able to get the shot off. He's a defenseman, but he's playing up strong, 6'4". Marcus Macchione at one point fell to the ice. He's back up. Now out to the right point of the shot. Goes wide to the right. Falcons take control, and now we'll skate it up. Kramer will gain the red and dump it in. Past the halfway mark in this game now, in this third period, or well past the halfway mark in this game. Dusick, long to the top of the slot, trying to find Zach Pappas. Falcons take that away. Reddick trying to move it along. Set back the other way. There's some good velocity there by Rossback. Can't beat the Falcons defenders. Bounce off the near side. Milhorn for Reddick. Now back to Milhorn. Milhorn's on a hat trick, gets the shot, but it's stopped by Timmins. He'll hold for a draw. 9:19 to go in the third.
That was a great look offensively. I love the little stop there from Milhorn to allow Reddick to get that lane, and then just that drop pass back. Great shot by Milhorn, but a great save. So I'm not mad about that possession right there. That was really good.
One thing we haven't talked about, but we talked about a little bit before we went on air, is how much inspiration these uniforms draw from the Boston Bruins in their history. The Rams jerseys, of course, the black and gold colors that the Bruins have, but these jerseys look a lot like the type of jerseys they wore back in the 70s, the way they've got the number font and all that going. And then for the Falcons, these triple stripe setup that they've got, it looks a lot like the triple stripes that the Bruins went with those 100th anniversary jerseys that they wore last season.
Great team to take inspiration from. I might be a little biased in that, but
a little bit. I mean, it's the local team after all. I mean, two Massachusetts teams. I mean, why not borrow a little bit of inspiration from the NHL team that's been here for over 100 years? McDonald whiffs on that one, and the Falcons will happily take the time to complete this line change. Jeremy McDonald, sophomore from Lockport, New York. Political science major, shot taken and stopped by Soderberg.
Rams not too far behind in shots, but the Falcons able to get good blocks and just kind of allowing Soderberg to do his job and make incredible saves in net tonight, as he's having himself a really good game.
One of the keys for defense is not always just to eliminate all shot attempts, as Chris Zapata trying to create something here, but also try to make it easier on your goalie to see the shots, limit the danger. On the left side, shot is shouldered side by Soderberg and into the netting and out of play.
That last play that the Falcons try to find Zapata cutting up ice, I mean, as soon as he takes off, they know that if they hit him, he's going to reach that puck. Definitely one of the fastest skaters on this Falcons team, maybe one of the fastest skaters on the ice tonight, and with incredible speed, he's able to stride towards the net. Played very well by the defense, though, as they're able to shut him down.
5'9", 170, plays like a bulldog. Cherry Hill, New Jersey. He's a computer information systems major, which is part of the computer science department at Fitchburg State. CIS is what you go into if you don't want to do hardware. Dixon throws it behind the net. Around the boards. To the red line, that's going to be dumped in by Collins. The Rams try to move it up ice from blue line to blue line, but no farther than that. Declan Bronte. On for Mateo Orme-Lynch. Now for Elowan. Get on the rush here. Elowan's shot is blocked. Rams have done a very good job in blocking shots tonight. They've got quite a few of those to their credit. The shot saved by Soderberg. Well, that's only happened with 4, but it feels like a lot more than that. Thrown in between the circles and now taken by the Falcons. Here's Bronte on the rush, the Australian. On for back to Bronte now, Elowan, and the shot taken off a body somewhere and wide of the net. Mateo Orme-Lynch, Elowan, stretched across, out of the reach. Rams coming back here the other way, the shot gloved by Soderberg.
Rams had about 4 players coming down ice, as they'll have to take that shot from kind of an awkward angle. But that previous possession by the Falcons, great puck movement and puck possession as they're able to maintain in some situations where you thought that maybe the Rams able to get it out of the zone, but no, the Falcons find the open player, able to shift around where they're playing, and just great movement.
Thrown out in front, great chance for the Rams. But Soderberg already had his pads down to the ice, stretching out that right leg, using his flexibility, keeping that out of the net.
So Rams only 3 away from tying up the Falcons in shots, but obviously 6 away from tying up the Falcons. They'll need about a goal a minute if they're looking to tie this one up.
I mean, if they come back and tie this game, it'll make SportsCenter. Or possibly go, or a supercut of those will probably go more viral than Soderberg's save. Chance out in front. Rams couldn't get it settled, and a second chance in front. Put it behind the net. I mean, I already feel bad about Soderberg's save because I misidentified the shooter. Don't give me more regrets with viral moments, please. Reddick can't keep control of it on the near side. Walker Smith stretching it up ice, looking for Ross Beck off a Falcon. Here's Marcus Macchione with a shot punched away by Timmins. Jack Johansson's shot is gloved by Timmins.
I love the offensive vision from Marcus Macchione as he saw Johansson start to line up, so he's like, all right, I'm gonna put myself in a position to try and get a stick on it. Great save, but just great offensive vision from the freshman. Hopefully has 3 more years here with the program, and he'll definitely be a top contributor.
And he was a player who actually had 1 more year of junior eligibility remaining, but chose to come to the Falcons this season so that he could get to play with both of his brothers, Max and Mike. They got to play in a game together at the beginning of the year against New England College, and then all the injuries started.
Injury is definitely something the Falcons have been dealing with a lot this season as important players have gone down, but for the most part, they're back and healthy. Some players, unfortunately, not going to see the ice for the rest of the year.
Falcons started the season with 29 players, and every player but Ben Zarnik has been able to get into a game, and Zarnik suffered a season ender of his own, so he didn't get that opportunity. He got to dress for a few games while Max Macchione was hurt. Him and Jake Candy, who was the goalie who joined the team later in the season after Zarnik was ruled out for the remainder of the year, are the only players who have not yet played for the Falcons this year. Every other player has gotten into at least 3 games. As icing's called against Fitchburg. And you know, in a 7-1 game like this, sometimes you think this might be a moment where you get your 3rd choice keeper because you get to dress 3 keepers, get him some time, but Alex Falkenhagen's already gotten a little bit of time in net this year. He's gotten to play in 5 games, and meanwhile for the Rams, they're already doing it. Alex Timmins was the 3rd choice coming in terms of playing time. And so he's been in the contest for, well, since 3-0. That was with 8:04 to go in the first. So it's like one of those, but you can fully understand why such an opportunity is not coming in this particular moment, because now if Handy had dressed as the 3rd instead of Falkenhagen, different story. It would have been the same if Zarnik was fit and healthy today. As there's a shot kicked aside by Timmins. He's done all right in goal today. Hasn't looked terribly vulnerable. Obviously, it's tough to give up 4 goals on 22 shots, but the Falcons have made it very difficult on him today. Same for Owen Swambon, who went 7 for 10 earlier in the contest. .340 to go in this game. The Falcons up by 6. And there are probably parts of the Rams who know or are resigned to the fact that they are definitely not going to be playing in the MASCAC playoffs this season.
They've definitely see their fair share of playoff games against Fitchburg. Whereas I remember in the 2021 season, as we previously mentioned during this game, when they ended up beating Fitchburg State, eliminating them on Fitchburg's home ice.
Yep. Had a very good year last year, won 8 games in conference, got the number 5 seed, and was really a game away from actually getting a home game in the MassCat quarterfinals. But it was the Falcons beating them 2-0 at Loring Arena. The most recent game played at Loring, interestingly enough, between these two teams. That's actually what kept the Rams from getting that home playoff game against Westfield. Now, Fitchburg, though, will actually be quite happy if Framingham is able to put their chins up and finish out the season strong, because the next game for the Rams is against Worcester State, a team the Falcons would like to catch in the standings in order to get a home game in the MassCat playoffs. And so the Falcons would absolutely love it if Framingham could come away with the win, as Mateo Orme-Lynch puts on all the moves but can't put it quite on target. And for Fitchburg State, you know, we recently saw, last week we saw Plymouth, and we saw Anna Maria, and we saw Salem State a couple of weeks ago. The Falcons are rooting for all 3 of those teams too down the stretch, because Fitchburg can't catch any of those teams in the standings. Those 3 have locked up the top 3 spots. This backhand shot, Soderberg goes for a spin, and somehow he got it.
I wonder if Bardown's gonna clip that save for him and put it up there on the Instagram Reels.
I had no idea where the puck had gone in that moment. I can tell you I wasn't as excited for that one, because I thought it was far more likely he got beat. Yes, the Falcons will absolutely be rooting for Salem, will be rooting for Plymouth, and rooting for Anna Maria down the stretch as they try to get a home playoff game, which would be a Thursday from today. That's going to be when the quarterfinals are, whether the Falcons are at home or not. But no question, though, this was a big 3 points to take away. Shot through traffic, turned aside. So the final 75 seconds. Rams coming up with a 3-on-2. Try to finish the season strong. They try to see if they can at least springboard themselves into that game against Worcester with a goal. Talking with assistant coach Soren Kolster before the game, he mentioned that, you know, the team had been coming on as of late, and he knows that they're going to still play a solid, even if it turns out, you know, they don't get the results that they need, even for those last 2 games against Worcester State on Thursday, against MCLA on Saturday, which, if things had started to align properly, could have potentially been a winner-take-all game to get themselves into the playoffs. That this team is still going to come together and try to finish the campaign strong.
And that's honestly all you can ask for from a program who has definitely struggled in the more recent years. As long as they keep their heads up, and programs change momentum all the time, and with Plymouth and UMass Dartmouth leaving the MassCat next year, it kind of leaves some things up for discussion on who's really going to take over the MassCat, because we know Plymouth to be the reigning champs for the last 5 years.
Anna Maria obviously has made themselves known as a contender, and if Westfield State gets some offense, their goaltending is scary. 10 seconds to go in this game. Falcons holding against the boards. Saavedra sticking it along. One more swing around the boards for the Rams. Time will expire. The Falcons take a big, big 7-1 win over Framingham State.
And this was exactly what the Falcons needed to give them the confidence going into playoffs. Hopefully things start to swing their way in the standings, and they can get a home game so we can give you some coverage here at Wallace Civic Center. But they'll face Westfield away on Thursday, and then they'll see Riviere back here to celebrate their seniors on Saturday.
So 5 o'clock start on Saturday. Fitchburg State and Riviere right here on FATV. Tune in a little early. Make sure you tune in by 4:45, 4:50 so we can see that senior day coverage. But yeah, the next game for the Falcons at Westfield State, 7:35 from Amelia Park. And the Falcons want to avenge that 7-1 loss they had on the other foot earlier this year. And our next broadcast here on FATV, by the way, will be tomorrow. We'll have some high school ice hockey. Monty Tech Fitchburg host Tingsboro for a puck drop around 2 o'clock. Maybe joining me for that one.
That should be an exciting one.
Yep, two very good teams. Monty Tech Fitchburg just clinched a postseason spot with a 5-2 win over East Hampton. But they could use some more strength of schedule points, and Tingsboro, a top 10 team in Division 3, will definitely provide them. And we'll also have one more high school game on Thursday when Monty Tech Fitchburg takes on Gardner. But for the Falcons today, though, a complete 60-minute game, playing the way they needed to. Outshot the Rams 33-28. And came away with the goals they needed, made the plays work. 4 goals in the first, 1 in the second, 2 in the third. And they've got themselves temporarily into the top 4. But as we know, Worcester State's got that game in hand, and the Lancers have to play 3 games in 5 days themselves. So there'll be a lot of scoreboard watching to do.
We'll see the players joining in their prayer circle at center ice.
You know, I know last time I saw this Framingham State team, a few of them joined. This is, I think, the biggest prayer circle we've seen this year. 4 Rams into the circle, maybe 6 Falcons. It's a pretty big one.
Great to see that at the end of the day, people who share the same faith can come together and celebrate. The game of hockey is one that brings people together. So awesome to see they're able to hold this moment together, and to see Macchione talking there with Craig. So obviously these teams have bad blood during those 60 minutes, but as soon as that game ends, they're back to being good buddies. And I mean, a lot of them played together or against each other in their junior leagues, so great to see.
Yeah. I remember in a game a couple weeks ago when, during Hockey Day in the Berg, my broadcast partner John Grugerty liked to joke, we're all friends here. And really, at the end of the day, we're all fellow humans and hockey players, and all just happy to get through the game. And, you know, there have been some rough moments between these two sides. There have been a few game disqualifications and misconducts handed out in games past between these two sides. There's been some bad blood. But in this particular game, you know, there weren't very many penalties in this contest. Only 6 minor penalties, and then the misconduct against Saavedra. But other than that, though, they've all let it go. We're back to friends and being friends. And I imagine some of those Falcons are, please beat Worcester on Thursday. We'd love it so much if you guys could do that for us.
Most definitely, but just such a great game for the Falcons offensively. You know, being able to hold the puck on different possessions when you thought that they might be able to get it out, as the Rams thought they could. And the Falcons defense standing strong. Soderberg had a phenomenal game. You know, he definitely has struggled in a few games this season, but able to come away strong, stand and be a brick wall in that net today. The defense holding their own and able to get back, and the forward just putting on an absolute clinic with the score sheet today, and all around a good team win for the Falcons. Absolutely.
Falcons go back to 500 overall, 11-11-1, 7-8-1 in the MASCAC. Rams fall to 2-18-3, 1-13-2 in the MASCAC, and see their playoff hopes come to an end. We now know that 8 teams that will be playing in the playoffs in a little over a week's time, and congratulations to MCLA, who have now locked up that playoff spot now with Framingham's loss today. Falcons again back on the road on Thursday at Amelia Park in Westfield to take on the Owls, 7:35, and then back here for Senior Day against the Raiders of Riviere, 5 o'clock on Saturday the 22nd, right here on FATV as well. Rams will be back at home on the 20th for their Senior Day against Worcester State, and then on the road at MCLA on the 22nd to finish out the slate. I think that's going to do it here from the Wallace Civic Center. Final score for the final time. It's Fitchburg State 7 and Framingham State 1. For Travis Falco camera, for Nola Patty, I'm Daniel Bolak saying thank you for tuning in. We hope to see you next time. And until then, so long from Fitchburg.